Welcome back to Masterpiece Minute at Virtual SDMA. This is your host, Ladan Akbarnia, curator of South Asian and Islamic art at the San Diego Museum of Art. In this podcast, which should probably be called Masterpiece Minutes when I do it, I explore SDMA's collections of art from places such as India, Pakistan, Iran, Central Asia, and the Middle East. Drop in weekly for a new mini-talk led by SDMA curators on works of art from the museum's collection. This episode is the second of a two-part exploration of illustrated examples of the Shahnama, the Persian epic celebrating ancient Iranian kingship. As I mentioned last week, the Shahnama, or Book of Kings, was written from oral tradition around 1010 by Ferdowsi. Its stories have inspired the visual and literary culture of the Persian and Islamic worlds, from Iran and Central Asia to South Asia, Turkey, and the diaspora. Last week, we introduced a page from one of the earliest illustrated examples of this text made in 14th century Iran under the Mongol Ilkhanid dynasty. After their conquests of Iran and Iraq, the Ilkhanids commissioned copies of the Shahnama, which they used as a manual for princely conduct as well as a symbol of legitimacy. The Mongol legacy survived through the dynasty founded by Timur, a Central Asian military leader who claimed lineage from both the great Mongol Chengiz Khan and the Muslims' prophet Muhammad. Zahhak enthroned, today's folio, from another dispersed copy of the Shahnama, comes from the Timurid period and dates about 100 years later than last week's example. Zahhak enthroned depicts the legendary Zahhak, Arabia's villainous ruler, after taking the throne from Jamshid, one of the Shahnama's most beloved Iranian kings. Zahhak reigned for 1,000 years under the influence of Ahriman, the manifestation of darkness in Zoroastrianism, the monotheistic religion of ancient Iran. After convincing Zahhak to kill and succeed his own father, the ruler of another kingdom, Ahriman, disguised as a cook, kissed Zahhak's shoulders, causing a snake to grow from each. Satiated only with human brains, the invincible snakes served as a perpetual reminder to the Arab king of his debt to Ahriman. In the painting, the artist identifies Zahhak with a snake growing from each shoulder. The figure holding a bowl may represent Ahriman as cook. Despite their separation from the rest of the manuscript, here image and text work together to present a cautionary tale for aspiring princes. On the preceding page, we learn about the decline of Jamshid's reign. Memorialized in Persian folklore as Iran's greatest ruler, Jamshid had been invested with the royal far, or divine splendor, revered by all of his subjects. His 300-year reign was marked by peace and prosperity until his power led to excessive pride and forgetting God's role in his success. On the next page, where the painting appears, we learn of Zahhak's designs on the Iranian throne and of his campaign against Jamshid, who ultimately surrenders his far or glory to the evil king. The Persian text, read from right to left, was penned in an elegant cursive script known as Nastaliq, developed in the 14th century. Both the painting of Zahhak enthroned and the story of his reign are introduced by a caption in a larger Thuluth script, reading Dastan Zahhak Tazi, or the story of Zahhak of the Tazi, referring to his tribe. The last 4 lines of text refer to the villain's long rule, during which peace, wisdom, and virtue were shunned in favor of disaster, madness, and sorcery. The final couplet identifies the 2 women approaching Zahhak in the painting as pure souls from the house of Jamshid, Du Pakize as Khane Jamshid, possibly his sisters, who were brought before the new king, trembling like a willow leaf, Larzan Chobid. If you look closely, you might see the floating catchword, which is cut off at the bottom left of the torn folio. This would have signaled the first word of the subsequent page, helping the binder order the folios in their proper narrative sequence. Zahhak enthroned illustrates the vulnerability of even the greatest kings and the consequences suffered in the absence of just rule. The painting has been attributed on stylistic grounds to Shiraz around the end of the reign of Ibrahim Sultan, the Timurid prince who governed this area before his death in 1435. The work's quality and the absence of a dedication suggest that the manuscript to which it belonged may represent early commercial production in this region. It would take several sessions to delve fully into the visual culture of the Shahnama, so hopefully we can revisit the subject in the future. For now, I hope these two examples illustrate how the Shahnama served both as a legitimizing tool for foreign rulers and as a template for royal behavior for the entire Eastern Islamic world. As a manual or mirror for princes, the Shahnama fit perfectly into a culture promoting adab, or refined conduct, which existed for centuries at the courts of the Islamic rulers of Iran. In this context, books were valued as repositories of knowledge and tools for education. Royal commissions, commercial production, and the subsequent dissemination of the Shahnama over centuries have enabled the remarkable impact of this text on visual culture both within and beyond Iran. Thank you for listening. This has been Ladan on Masterpiece Minute here at Virtual SDMA.